Hello and welcome to another episode of the Faithful to the Bay podcast. I'm your host, Shea Michael Crisp, and I'm here tonight with my co-host, Caleb McElrath. Caleb, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, doing pretty good. I'm still in shock over what happened on Saturday. That was a total slaughter fest after Debo got his leg yanked by Jonathan Abram. What are your thoughts on that game, bro?
Yeah, I guess I thought the weather would be a bigger part in it. That's for sure. Uh, the offense came out a little slow, but I know after, like you just said, that leg pull, the twist of the ankle, it kind of light a fire on both sides of the ball. And after that, it was you could just see the Seahawks were overmatched at every position.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They got us in the first half. It was 17-16 going into this, the halftime. And they knocked Brock Purdy off his rhythm. Christian McCaffrey had a really good run, I thought. And other than that, a lot of receivers were dropping balls. But
Hmm.
yeah, like you said, they turned it around second half. And whatever was said in that locker room, and then, like you said, inspired by the yank. And Debo even thought, what the heck, you're not going to flag me? And it was lights out after that. I mean, Brock Purdy ended the night 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he also rushed for one too, didn't he? Yeah, one touchdown. I forgot to put that stat line on there. But what are your thoughts on Brock Purdy and how he performed?
I thought it was pretty the perfect game just from the rookie standpoint. You can kind of see the a little bit of weather at first and the nerves with the. I mean, it was the only coach this far that was able to play him for the second time this year with the Seahawks, so they could kind of throw something different that didn't work the first time that could this time. But yeah, you just see a little sell the ball a little bit, a couple throws to the inside, but other than that, I mean, played phenomenal after that point.
Yeah, what do you think of his little Deion Sanders high step for that first down?
Yeah,
Boy's got legs.
he's a playmaker.
That he's a baller for sure. And like you said earlier about the weather, they were predicting 8 inches of rain. I mean, after I think it was the second quarter, it was sunshine after that. So I
Yep.
thank God that really helped. Yeah, I mean the whole team. I mean Brock Purdy, of course, gets all of the glory because he's the quarterback, the Mister Irrelevant. So all eyes are going to be on him. Even Fred Warner even said he should be getting the glory. But that defense
Hmm.
looked pretty good too. I mean Christian
Oh yeah.
McCaffrey, 15 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown. What are your thoughts on that?
That that I think it was a 68-yard rush, his first carry of the game.
Yeah,
And man, I feel like I could have got at least 10 yards on that play. I don't think he was touched for that block Brandon you got on the still the outside. I mean, that was a great game for him. First playoff game with the 49ers and he fit in just right.
yeah. Like you said, that hole was we could have gotten 10 yards or even 20. I mean Trent Williams is something else, and Aaron Banks, Jake
Yep.
Brundle. I mean, who is it that they worked that right guard spot with Dan Brunskill and was it Spencer Buford?
Yep.
And then Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. This is the best offensive line I've seen under the Kyle Shanahan era. I think Football Outsiders has them ranked the number three best offensive line this season. So
Mhm.
that was pretty good. And then, of course, our offensive playmaker, Mr. Deep Seal. What are your thoughts on that stat line?
I mean, he had a a game a while back against the Rams. I know he missed the second one, but he had that I think it was 100 and something receiving yards. So it's kind of that typical Debo game. And with McCaffrey getting the offense, his targets have went down. Obviously, he missed a couple games injury, but man, he's just there's no one like him. I don't think he gets
That
that ball in his
really
hands. And you
isn't.
think he could score every single time. It, it's unreal.
Yeah, just like that 75-yard touchdown. It was just like after that, that was game. That was
Yeah.
just. I mean, George Kittle looked okay too. He didn't get the ball as much, but I mean, Debo, I think offensively carried the team. Other than as an offensive playmaker, Christian was good, but then Elijah took one of his touchdowns on that reception. Which, hey, whoever gets the ball, it's a team sport.
Yep.
So on to the defense, man. What do you think of Charles Omenihu with that key strip sack?
Yeah, this guy it's awesome for him. It's his contract year, and he has his best game yet in the playoffs, where it all counts. So that's awesome for him. Uh, Yeah, that play, because I think at that time it was 23-17, I believe.
Hmm.
And that strip sack right there, kind of after that, it was Seattle. They couldn't move the ball until the very end of the game, but it really changed everything right there. I seen the percentage of their snaps this game also, and I think it was Armstead led the way with like 56% of snaps, Bosa 54, and then Kinlaw at 44. So you kind of got to the rest your starting linemen a little bit and have a bunch of plays from all these other guys, including Omenahue, and keep everyone's legs fresh, which is awesome. But yeah, he balled out in the biggest moment. That's good for
That he
him.
did. I hope we resign him next year because the way he's playing, like you said, this is a contract year for him. I'd love for him to be the bookend to Bosa. That would
Mm.
be perfect. But yeah, like you said, game changer after that strip sack, and then I think that's was what really turned the ball around and it motivated everyone on the defensive side too. So yeah, that was a heck of a game. Niners third, and now we watched them. Was that Buccaneers and Cowboys? And Cowboys looked really good against Tom Brady. I mean, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
get next to. What are your thoughts on the next this week's matchup against the Cowboys?
man, I'm excited for it. I live out here 2 hours east of Dallas, so I walked in to work Monday morning, and everyone had their Cowboys gears on it. They're back on that. It's our year, we them boys. So this was a game I personally wanted. I think we're better. Obviously, I don't think Tom Brady just doesn't want to get hit anymore. So he'll throw the ball straight to the ground. He'll do everything to avoid a sack. So I think having, I don't want to say mobile, but a quarterback that's elusive, gets out of sacks and makes spectacular plays like you see even if they're dropped in the corner of the end zone. But yeah, this I'm looking forward to this game. I think uh I think they have a real advantage running the ball against Seattle's rush or Dallas's rush defense.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think with us playing against a mobile quarterback like Dak Prescott? Do you think that's going to cause our defense staff to reshuffle? Because I mean, he wasn't really mobile last year in the wild card playoff. So, what are your thoughts on having to deal
Yeah,
with a mobile quarterback like Dak?
I kind of look at it like you said last year. I think going into that playoff game, they had the number one scoring offense in points and yards. And if Jimmy didn't throw an interception towards the end of the third quarter, I think they had 7 points for most of the whole game. So, I mean, they shut him down last year for the most part. And you look at the teams this year, you can say, I mean, the players, obviously, they're more in their systems, like Micah Parsons, second year, so he's more developed. But looking at both teams, I think the Niners have just gotten better. Running back position, quarterback position, secondary's gotten better since last year. Linebackers are playing good. I think Niners have gotten a lot better than Dallas has since last season, so that's what I'm kind of looking forward to this game.
Yeah, and like you said, you had touched on we improved on the offensive line, the running backs, quarterback, and especially the secondary. Last year we didn't have Charvarius Ward. We had Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Brett wasn't in that game. He was injured, right? I can't think of that starting outside corner from him. I think it was Kwan Williams, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had K'Wan Williams. Ambry Thomas played a little bit
Ambry
when he was
Thomas.
held.
That
Yeah.
that's right. I mean, you got to think they traveled clear across the country, and by the time they got to the NFC Championship, we beat ourselves.
Yeah.
We weren't having to travel all around. So, well, what are your predictions on the Cowboys? Do you think I think we're going to beat them, but do you think it's going to be a landslide, or do you think it's going to be a nail biter, last second field goal?
Um, Speaking of last second field goal, if their kicker's kicking it, I think we have a good shot. But I don't think it'll be too. I don't think it'll be too
Sorry.
close. They're yeah, they're a good team, obviously, and it seems like I asked a question last show if Dak Prescott just wasn't really good anymore, and he went out
Mhm.
there and probably played his best game. I know it's against the Bucks, but so yeah, he's showing out right now, which is good for them. But yeah, I think this game, I feel like Kyle will have a good matchup against Dan Quinn, and you're gonna see guys running wide open. And I said it a little earlier in the show, but yeah, their run defense didn't finish that great off in this year, and I think we're all starting to click, especially that O line. So I expect that it's going to be one of those games where hopefully we hit that 35 run total mark.
I agree. And like you said, I think they finished 16th or 17th in run defense. So if you can establish the run, then they can set up the pass later on in the game or down the drive. So they're not stacking 7, 8 guys in the box. We can open it up across the middle. And you didn't say your final score. What did you think the final score is going to be?
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna say 31-20, San
Oh
Francisco.
wow, that's a good one, man. I think that's very possible. I'm thinking, oh, that's a good one. 28-24. It's
Yeah,
gonna. I don't know where I'm getting that 28, but
until I see this team not throw up 30 points a game, which is what they're doing with them, I'm gonna keep picking them in that 30 range somewhere.
yes, you've stated that very well. And I think with Brock Purdy as a starter, I think out of 6 out of the 7 games, they've been over 30 something, 33 points a game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
that's it.
averaging, I believe it's like 34.8 a game with them. So it's
Wow. Well,
wild.
hopefully it continues on, and we can hopefully meet up with either New York or Philly. I mean, New York's looking pretty hot right now too. So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to move on to next. Playoff games, predictions, and thoughts. What do you think of this one? Pop up real quick. There we go. Oh nope, same one. My bad. Here we go. Thoughts and prediction on Jacksonville and Kansas City.
I mean, that game is Jacksonville. The thing with Kansas City is I know their favorite. I believe it's about 8.5 points or so.
Wow.
They don't really cover the big spreads. Those games are usually closer. It's the ones that are close. You think they're going to be close, and they end up just blowing the top off that game. So I think this one's probably be a lot closer. I do got Kansas City taking it, but I think this one's also going to be around the 27-24 mark or so. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference.
It's gonna be a nail biter then.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at Kansas City, yeah, they've got Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelsey in that offense, but they don't really have a run game, and they really don't have a secondary or a defense. So it's very possible. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he looked like a first-round bust in that first half against the Chargers, but like you say, he's never lost on a Saturday and comes out and throws 4 touchdowns and beats the Chargers. So I'm really riding in on the Jaguars train right now, just for the AFC, thinking they can upset. They can upset the Chargers. They can upset Kansas City. I think any of those teams are beatable. I mean, the Buffalo game alone. How did the Dolphins get 31 on them? Just
Yeah. And especially with all those key drops that Waddle and Tyreek had, they could have had a chance to win that game before even their last drive.
we're the third string quarterback on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
so that
thing
moves
about
us on to the next
their
one. What's up?
Kansas City's defense, real quick, they had Chris Jones on their defensive line. I mean, he's playing like a baller, so just give him a little shout
Yeah.
out because I think he had like 15 sacks or so from the defensive tackle position. So he could wreck a game. So if they don't get a handle on him, if this Jacksonville offense can't put up points, it might go a little further than the 3 points that I have them winning by. But yeah.
No, you hit a key point on that. I forgot about Chris Jones. He's lights out, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Niners lost the Super Bowl in 2019, because that interior offensive line could not handle, Chris Jones and that defensive end. I can't even think of his name.
Frank Clark.
Frank Clark. There we go. Yeah, wreak havoc. So, yeah, that's Chris. Shout out to him for playing a hell of a season. Cincinnati versus Buffalo. This is the game I've been wanting to watch since. This game would have predicted 3 weeks ago who would have got the first seed if it weren't for Damar Hamlin's unfortunate injury. So, what are your thoughts?
This game is awesome. Buffalo's defense is very suspect, I think. I'm not sure how they're letting these teams put up so many points they are. But the one thing, Cincinnati was my Super Bowl bet from the AFC side, but man, it seems like every week one of their offensive linemen goes down. And another one last game, so it's going to be difficult for them. But yeah, hopefully this game promises us a shootout, which they should have had a couple weeks ago. But I'm looking forward to this one. I still think Cincinnati's going to take it, though. I think this one's going to be a pretty close one, around 27-25.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And you brought up key points on that, the offensive line. Josh Allen's been playing really sus himself. If you think about it, it's the interceptions. I know they always play the Dolphins twice a year, so it's always when you play a divisional rival, it's always a hard matchup. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Cincinnati, I'm going to say at least 30 on Buffalo. I mean, if the Dolphins with their suspect offense with a third string quarterback, like you said, it comes down to the defense and offensive line in the trenches. So I'm thinking 31, maybe 24 Buffalo. I don't know. Everyone's riding on Buffalo's train, and I just don't see it. They don't have a run game. Josh Allen is just. I mean, he's a great
Yeah,
quarterback, but I just don't see
yeah.
it.
I don't know why they decide not to ever try to get a run game going. It's the National Football League. You're gonna have some type of run game. You can't have him throw it 60 times a playoff game hoping you're gonna win. So that's not gonna
Exactly, and
work
then he's
out.
the one actually I think leads the team. So he's just one to God he doesn't, but it's you can't run your quarterbacks like that. Look at what happened with Lamar Jackson, Trey Lance.
Yep.
Yeah, so you've got Cincy in this one. I hope it's going to be Cincy and Kansas City. I figure it's going to be Kansas City, but
Uh
I'm
huh.
really hoping for a Jacksonville Cincinnati AFC
Oh
Championship,
man, that would be awesome right there.
right?
but
Trevor
but yeah,
Lawrence.
I got Cincinnati in this one too.
Yeah, I hope since Joe Burrow, the former first round pick, it'd be cool to see him go up against last year's first round pick and Trevor Lawrence. That'd be pretty dope to see. And our final playoff game that everyone's been wanting to watch. Thoughts on New York Giants versus Philly?
Yeah, this one. I guess I really want to see how healthy Jalen Hurts is. I know they had him out there their Week 18 game against the JV squad for the Giants, and it took an
Mm-hmm.
onside kick to hold him off at the end. So I know it's hard to really rule on this Giants offense because Daniel Jones did look, which is cool for him too. It's contract year for him also, but he looked really great. But it is also the Vikings defense, so I mean you can put anyone out there and they might look the best in the league at that point. But I think their coaching is really going to elevate them to keep them in games like this, which they shouldn't be in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this game, I, I want to pick the Giants, but I think Philly's just got too much on them, and I feel like at some point it could probably get away from them. It's probably going to be a man. This one's tough. I'm thinking probably going to be Philly around 33 to the 20 mark.
Oh wow! So you got Philly blowing them out, huh? I think honestly, Philly was. I hate to say this, I might get murdered for it, but the Phillies, I think, their strength of their schedule, they almost lost to the Colts for crying out loud.
Hmm.
And like you, Minnesota's defense, anyone can look good against. I mean, the Colts put 31 plus on them in that game against the Vikings. Was it week 12, I think, or week 11? And luckily the Vikings were able to come back, but at the same time, it's just I don't know, man. I'm thinking I'm running the Danny Dimes train on this one. The way he looked, like you said, he could look good on anything, but it is a contract year, and I think it also fuels him because the Giants didn't pick up his fifth-year option. And
Hmm.
with Dable as their head coach, he's worked wonders for this guy. So of course he's gonna ball out. And the Giants' defense looked really good as well. So I think that on another one, another divisional rival, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I don't think Philly's going to blow them out unless they can get the RPO game going. I mean, that's what Jalen Hurts' strengths are. But Giants him twice a year. They've got film on the guy, and like you said, that was the JV squad in Week 18. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I I'm going to throw this out there, man. I'm going Giants 28, Philly 21.
Yeah, I
Upset.
mentioned last week. I forgot to mention the Giants got their two key secondary members back. I think they held
Mhm.
Justin Jefferson to just around like 50 receiving yards in a playoff game. So they did get a lot tougher on the defensive end or the defensive side when they didn't even have those guys playing Philly the last couple of times. So you talked me into it. I'm riding with the G-men as well.
There we go. Heck yeah. I hate to say that, but I mean, because I hate any NFC East team, but hey, I'd rather go with the hot train. And also the Giants got, or is it Kayvon Thibodeau? And then they
Yeah,
have Leonard Williams up front. That defensive line's going to, if they can
Dexter
plug the
Lawrence.
Dexter
Yeah,
Lawrence too, he's in a
they
contract
got
year as
some guys.
well. So I don't know. G-Men, let's go 28-21 Philly. So,
Let's ride with him.
right. Well, brother, I don't have any other stuff to really talk about. You got anything you want to talk about on that? On the playoffs or the 49ers?
Yeah, we can go back to a little of that Niner Seahawks game. One guy that was getting a lot of I guess trash you could say on his last couple of weeks, the Amador Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a couple catches on him, but they were for minimum gains, and he tackled right away, and he read that out route perfect for that interception. So a little props to him because I know he's been getting dragged by almost even me a little bit. I was saying someone else got to be better than this guy over there, but he played good last game, so props to him.
Yeah, props to him, bro. And even what was that? D'Amico Ryan even told him, he's like, "Hey, they're talking about you in the news. Don't use it as a negative thing. Use it as a positive thing." And then, like you said, he went out and balled. And I mean, over in the preseason, he jumped Ambry Thomas, for the starting spot. I mean, unfortunately, Emmanuel Mosley went down in Week 5 with a torn ACL. But
Brutal.
like you said, they were attacking him, and he's starting to show up second year corner. And might be a starter next year.
Yeah, that Emmanuel Mosley injury really sucks for him because I know he's in the contract year as well. But having
Yeah.
that injury right in the middle of that year, that might help him come back to San Francisco on a smaller deal than he would have got if he stayed this whole year healthy. So welcome him
Yeah.
back with open arms next year.
Yeah, because he can definitely ball, and to me, I think he is a starter for the Niners. He was with us
Oh
in
yeah.
2019, and he was with us, and I think he was our best corner as of last year. I don't know what his stat line was for the season, but I know he had a few key interceptions. And the only person that's really suspect on defense in the secondary to me is Talanoa Hufanga. Dude can read the ball pretty well, but sometimes he bites on those play actions, and it's just, man, he looks like a deer in the headlights out there.
Yeah, the I seen a stat on one of the 49ers reporters posted on Twitter also. Dallas's defense had given up the most yards and receptions to wide receiver two on opposing offenses. So this game, I feel like this is going to be. You got Kittle, you got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got all this star talent, and it's probably going to be IU's biggest game. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
He owes Purdy for that touchdown too. He even said, "Hey, I dropped it." So, like you said, I hope he balls out and just leads the
Yeah.
team, and maybe use Debo on a couple little, trick plays. But man, feed the man, feed George Kittle a little more too.
I mean, they had that game last year. Man, if it wasn't for the Jimmy overthrow, he broke Trayvon Diggs' ankles on that one out route to the
Yeah.
sideline. But I'm looking forward to that matchup. I know he's good against man coverage, so hopefully that's what they're gonna play against him a little bit here and there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And hopefully they'll work George up the middle in the seams. That's where George produces best, I think. But yeah, get Brandon White one on one and get him on those slant routes, and dude works wonders.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully we have a big Kittle game too. It's been a little while. I know he finished the season off like 7 touchdowns I think in the last 4 or 5 games, so that was good. But I know his receiving totals I think per game was only like 38 or 40, so I think this could be a big game for him as well. I know their linebackers aren't the most talented, and their safeties dealing with the ankle injury, so
Oh, that's right. I
hopefully
forgot
they'll be
Hurst got
able
injured on
to.
that game on Monday nights. And then I don't think Leighton Vander Esch is all that great of a cover linebacker. He's a great
Yeah,
tackler in the run game, but he's very in
yeah, for
the
sure. We should see a good
coverage.
Kittle
It's
and
just,
IU game.
he's definitely not a Fred Warner.
No,
Yeah, I
not
really
many
hope
people
so.
are.
Yeah, brother. Well, we're almost at the 30-minute mark. Do you have anything you want to touch up or say before we go?
Well, after you've seen this last week of football, all these games that happened, because I know we didn't really recap that many of them. Is your I think
Mhm.
you had Kansas City going to the Super Bowl.
I think I did. I think I predicted it, but after really looking at
Is that who
stat
you're
lines
staying
and
with?
DVOAs, actually, I'm saying that, man. I think I'm going to go with. I'm riding Trevor Lawrence's bandwagon. Really see that the Jacksonville goes. It's crazy, and I know Vegas doesn't have them go into the AFC Championship, but hey, what they did and showed, I think Trevor Lawrence and with what Doug Peterson's done with that team, I got the Jaguars going to the Super Bowl. How
Oh,
about
nice.
you? Still keeping Cincinnati?
Yeah, they find like last week they find some weird, ugly ways to win, even when it's the other team handing them the ball at the 1 yard line and run 99 yards. But I'm not gonna pick against them till they're out. They find these weird ways to corral these games and put it where they want it. So, but I will have to say it is like you said earlier. Trevor Lawrence has never lost on a Saturday, and they got another Saturday game coming up for him. So let's see if he can keep that going.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, I really hope so. It'd be cool if championship. You got the Bengals going. I've got Trevor Lawrence going. It'd be pretty dope.
And I wouldn't be more than surprised if
But
we
yeah,
talk about
well,
this next week and Kansas City and Buffalo are the two teams left.
well, if that's the case, man, I mean, we'll definitely touch up on it. I think next day we might be able, unless you're not available to do, unless you want to do an episode on Wednesday.
Yeah, whenever you can just let me know.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll try to shoot for Monday. We'll try to get Mike on here as well, and he couldn't make it unfortunately today, so hopefully he'll be on the next episode. And well, Caleb, any final words, brother, before we log off?
Let's. This is. I know it's a little premature, but this is my Super Bowl right here. I've been looking forward to this one. I was hoping throughout the year we were able to meet in playoffs again. I wasn't alive for those '90s rivalries, but hopefully they're able to restart them up right now because gotta knock them out 2 years in a row. That's gonna be beautiful.
I agree. Just like how they knocked us out back to back in the early '90s to go to the Super Bowl. So until we got them on a third one. But for sure, man, I really appreciate you joining me tonight, brother. And I'll see you next week for the next week's episode. And go Niners.
Go Niners! Sounds good. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Thanks, brother.